So today I wanted to go in a little broader direction. We're going to talk about 5 things that you must do in order to be a successful entrepreneur. Now, these are relevant across business models, so regardless what your focus is on, these will apply to you. And I promise you, if you apply these, they will make a massive difference in the trajectory of your success. So first and foremost is to give yourself permission to make your own decisions. Now, this is a huge one that I see across the board. Too many people that want to start working for themselves need guidance on every little decision that they make. What color should my website be? Should I buy this product? Will it be profitable? Insert question here. Now, don't get me wrong. Asking questions and getting mentorship can be great. That's not what I mean. But you have to give yourself permission to make your own choices too. One trait that I see that all successful entrepreneurs have is the ability to make swift decisions and the ability to solve their own problems. That doesn't mean that their decisions are always right, but it does mean that they'll either make the right decision or they'll learn what not to do very, very quickly. They don't need anyone to hold their hand, and if you want to be a successful entrepreneur yourself, you have to accept this reality too. Now, a great book on this is Relentless by Tim Grover, and this has been in my top 5 books for as long as I can remember. This book will change your life, both as just a human being and as an entrepreneur and a competitor as well. If you guys are interested, I'll make sure to link this book down in the description if you want to check it out, okay? Now, moving on to number 2 now is to take calculated risks. Now, you must be willing to take calculated risks and bet on yourself and your business. Otherwise, you'll never move it forward. Now, you have to get comfortable with potential failure if you want to succeed at the highest levels. For instance, you have to be willing to purchase the inventory to see if you can turn a profit, even if that means that that's your last $100 at the time. You have to be willing to hire an employee, for example, if you want to scale your business out of your comfort zone. And yet another example, you have to have the courage to put yourself out there on YouTube or Instagram, even if some people might talk behind your back or make fun of you. That's one that I see a lot across the board with a lot of potential content creators that might not be willing to pull the trigger. Now, whatever business that you're interested in, take the leap. Learn to fly on the way down. You will. I promise you. Number 3 is to focus on giving more value to your customers or really just anyone. There's 2 different questions you can ask yourself when you wake up as an entrepreneur. First and foremost is, how can I sell more of my product today? Or number 2, how can I help my target customer more today? Now, there's absolutely nothing wrong with selling your products or services, but if you're constantly focused on only selling, you're forgetting about the number 1 most important thing about your business, and that is your customers. This was a revelation for me in my entrepreneurship journey. Instead of solely focusing on how I could make more money each day, which often led to mediocre products or less rapport with current customers and less customer satisfaction and success, well, I began to focus solely instead on how to make my products and services better or the best that they could potentially be for customers each and every day. And to my amazement, sales actually increased with less effort. Also, when I did sell, it felt more authentic because I genuinely knew my products could help people and customers would get better results. There's really only one way to run a sustainable business that works long-term anyway, and that is a relentless focus on the customer. Focus on improving your products, focus on giving more to your customers, focus on doing more for the people around you. As they say, you can have everything you want if you're just willing to help other people get what they want. Moral of the story, focus more on giving to your customers and improving your products and services, not fancy marketing schemes or complicated sales funnels. Number 4 is to avoid shiny object syndrome. And this plagues every single entrepreneur on their way to the top, myself included. Shiny object syndrome, for those of you that don't know, is the tendency to chase something new and exciting rather than focusing on what you're already doing. That means if you're focused on arbitrage, for example, and you see that Johnny on Instagram, is flashing a Lambo in front of you saying that he got this doing Shopify drop shipping, you don't bite. That means if you see a YouTube ad of someone holding cash and saying that they made that money super easy flipping their last rental property, you hit the skip button. Now, there's nothing wrong with any particular business, especially the ones that I referenced. But the key is to stick with what you're already doing and continue progressing at that. So I have two papers here, and they both illustrate a different, avenue on how shiny object syndrome can potentially affect you and why you should avoid it, okay? So this one first is 3 ladders. As you can see, there's 3 equal ladders here. And maybe you're on this first ladder climbing up arbitrage, okay? We'll stick with the arbitrage example. And maybe you're on right about here on the 3rd rung of the ladder, okay? Now, what you often see is somebody flashing a Lambo on Instagram talking about a different business model, or somebody running a YouTube ad basically talking about how they made, X amount of money super easily by simply, just implementing this ready-made business model if you buy their course. Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with these other business models, but the illusion that if you just jump over to this business model, you will be up here at the top of this ladder is completely false. Same thing with this ladder, right? What usually happens is you're making progress on yours, and then all of a sudden what you do is you jump over to the other business model entirely, and you don't start up here, you don't even start where you were. Instead, you jump all the way back down to the bottom and start making progress in there, and then maybe jump all the way back down to the bottom in another business model and make all the way, a little bit of progress there. And you never really make enough progress in one direction. Here's a better example that might hit home for a bunch of you. You are either the person following shiny object syndrome here, and this is what this sun illustrates right here, right? You're the dot with the circle, or you're this dot and this circle. So you want to be this person and making steady, directional progress in whatever you want to do. What most people do is they start making progress out in one direction, and then they get caught up with shiny object syndrome, and they hop from business model to business model, making a little bit of progress in every direction, but never enough to really see, full sustainable business growth and success. Instead, if you would just add up all these little pieces of progress in multiple different directions and made them all in the same direction, you would get a lot further and be a lot more successful in whatever business model you chose. So find out what business model you like and decide to become the best that you can be about it. Then ignore everything else. Number 5 is to understand that you're competing for actual money. This isn't a game. Mark Cuban said it best.
You start a business, you better know your industry and your company better than anyone in the whole wide world, because you're competing. And to think that whoever it is you're competing with is just going to let you come in and take their business, obviously that's naive, and I think most people don't recognize that. If you're going to compete with me on one of my businesses, you better realize that I'm working 24 hours a day to kick your ass.
And that doesn't mean that you have to work 24 hours a day, full throttle, to ever see any success. But what it does mean is that you'd better recognize that you have many competitors out there that are all fighting for a piece of the pie that you also want. It's not a game. And if you want any real shot at that pie, you better be willing to work for it. Too many entrepreneurs have this, mentality now that you can just find a profitable Shopify niche and press the, the on button on Facebook ads and voila, you're a millionaire. Or another one that I see is people think that they can just do a little bit of product research on Amazon, manufacture a product that's selling well, and then slap their own private label on that same exact product and voila, yes, you're a millionaire. But any real business does not work that way. Now, you can make money with both of those business models, okay? I'm not poo-pooing them, or any business model that has a proven track record for that matter. People do it every single day. But you'd better realize that you're competing against the rest of the market and the rest of the world to win that customer every single day. What are you offering that they aren't? What are you giving that they aren't? Why should a customer buy your product and service compared to your competitor? If you can't answer that question right now, Well, you need to come up with some legitimate reasons why they would, and then work every single day to substantiate those reasons. So there you have it, guys. 5 things that you must do to become a successful entrepreneur. I hope that you liked this video, and I hope that you got a lot of value out of it. If you appreciate the value in this video, please give it a thumbs up. I genuinely appreciate it. And with that being said, I'll see you in the next one.